Hello everyone, my name is BottleTopHornet, and welcome to the first episode of a new series that I want to start, which I haven't quite got a name for yet, but it's something that I wanted to do to sort of break up my workload as far as making the Let's Play series, and it's also something that will help me improve my skills in Minecraft itself. So I'll put the comment up on screen. I can't remember off the top of my head who it was, but somebody mentioned the idea of maybe doing more of those builds that I did in my tips and tricks video, where I went in and just put myself into creative and tried to build in the spot that I spawned using the existing landscape. Now, I think what I'd like to do with this series is maybe every 2 weeks, we'll see how it goes, we'll see how easy it is for me to actually do. I want to pop in to a brand new seed, completely random, and challenge myself to build wherever I spawn. Now, of course, there will be some where it's obviously not possible to build. Oh, well, it could be possible to build, but there might be some that are just really bad spawns and not a good place to build because nobody would build there. But I'm going to try and challenge myself to do the best I can wherever I spawn. So for this first episode, we're going to jump straight in, create a new world in creative, probably put it on peaceful so we don't have to deal with anything. And my original idea was Freestyle Friday, but there's no guarantee that it will be uploaded on Fridays. We'll have to see how it goes. But I'm going to call it that for now. If you guys have any ideas in the comments that you could come up with probably after this video, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. So we're going to go creative mode, peaceful, game rules. We're probably going to turn off updating weather just so that we don't get any rainstorms. And then, just to prove, empty seed, it's going to be completely random. Everything else is as is, and let's see how we go. I'm a little bit nervous because I don't know what we're going to get. And this is the first time, but let's cross our fingers and hope it's something interesting. Okay. Dark oak forest. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Well, that's about as good a spawn as I could have hoped for the first episode. Okay. So what I think I'll do in this series is pop in like this, have a look at the world real quickly, and run you guys over what my first impressions are. The first idea that pops into my head. So, let me just spend about 30 seconds to take in my surroundings, and I'll tell you what the initial response to this seed is. Okay, so having a little bit of a fly around, I've sort of started to get a bit of an idea in my head, and that is maybe a little town, a little village, tucked away in this dark oak forest, using this flatter area here, maybe setting up a wall around the outside, and then the possibility, depending on how long it takes, of, oh, that's interesting terrain generation, of adding maybe a hall or something up here on top of this cliff. So my idea for this series is that I will give myself a timer, something around 3 to 4 hours. I'll set that and try and stick to it so that I'm forced to not spend too much time, and also it challenges me to see what I can do within that set time limit. So I like that idea. I like the idea of a couple of small houses and stuff surrounded by a bit of wall around this area, maybe a little bit of farmland or something. We might remove the old portal, and then connecting it to some bridges or a little system that comes up here to a town hall. I'm not exactly sure on the style, and I think with this series I would like to change my style every single time, or at least try to come up with different ideas as I go. But with that being said, we're just about ready to jump in. Now these videos are going to be hopefully a little bit shorter than the Let's Play series, and they're designed to be both inspiration for you guys and also practice for me. So we're going to jump into a decent sized time lapse, and then I'm going to come in at the end and we're going to talk about what I've made and maybe try and give you guys some insight as to the workflow and the way that my ideas continue to evolve. So without further ado, let's jump into this time lapse, see what I can come up with in the next few hours, and then, yeah, hopefully it turns out pretty good. So I'll see you on the other side. And welcome back in, folks. Welcome to my little gnomish mushroom village. It's actually quite interesting to see how the idea developed as I was building. At first, I really thought it was going to be more of a medieval style town when I had my first impressions of this place. But as I started to remove things and saw the mushrooms that already existed in this dark oak forest, I started to get this idea in my head of putting together a more grounded part of the nature itself little village. So we popped a river through here and tried to make it so that the houses were a little bit more integrated into the landscape themselves. Went for a bit of a more diverse path, using different bits and pieces, tried to blend things in as though, you know, from these angles here, you can see the structures, but a lot of it just looks like greenery and nature. Now, this took me about 3.5 hours. I ended up cutting it short there because it was reaching the point where adding more detail was starting to lose the effect. It wasn't really achieving much. I could obviously go into an insane amount of detail by adding more and more and more and more, but at a certain point it becomes the point of diminishing return where it's not worth it for me to keep investing in this world, because I'm obviously not going to play on it. It is just a practice, a place for me to test my skills and try out new things. And we have a ridiculous amount of fish down there for some reason. So none of these places have interiors. None of it's really got much life to it other than the structures themselves just being built. But the whole idea for me was to just get an idea out of my head and see what I could make of it without spending too much time trying to plan or anything like that. So we have little stables here and tried to tie it all together as though it maybe was inhabited at some point, or could be inhabited by villagers or something. You could bring that in here. What I think I'm going to do is, for these Freestyle Fridays, or whatever we end up landing on as the permanent name, I think I'll probably try and put these worlds up for download in the description so that you guys can download them if you have Java and pop in and have a bit of an explore, or even use the world for yourself. There is cheats on, so you could switch it over to survival and use this as your starting base. And I don't know, I think just having the option there for some people who might want to use it or just have a fly around and see what I've done in more detail, I want that to be an option for you guys. Now, what I'll quickly do, in case you just want to use the seed, I'll just leave that on screen for a second. That's the seed there. You can pause and use that if you want to. Otherwise, there will be also the seed in the description, and yeah, hopefully the world download as well. All in all, though, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. For 3.5 hours work, it ended up quite detailed. I definitely brought to life what sprung into my head. I really like these sight lines and these stacked layers through here and all the greenery. Definitely a huge fan of that. If I was going to spend more time on it, I would probably try and detail and diversify the banks of this river, and yeah, definitely blend it even further into the landscape and try and get rid of just these areas where there's basically all I did was use some bone meal on the grass. But since this is my first go at this new series, and I don't exactly know how I want to structure these too much, I think we're going to leave it with just a little fly through again on the replay mod. I might put some shaders on, and we'll just get a nice look at this village. I will do my best to make sure the description has all the things that are necessary in it, and yeah, I would love to hear from you guys what you think. Whether you enjoy this idea and you'd like to see more of this as a way to break up the normal content of my Let's Play, as it's something that's a little less stressful for me. I can turn my brain off a bit and don't have to think too hard about it all. Or maybe you don't like it, but let me know in the comments. So I'll leave you with a little bit of a fly through of the village with some nice shaders on, try and get the sunset going or something like that. I would like to thank my Patreon supporters for the continued support, especially my level 3 Patreon Tom. Thank you so much, Tom. As always, I appreciate you. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you haven't subscribed already and you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out, I'd really love to have you along for the journey. And I'm hoping to continue and improve my skills and my content for all you guys. So until the next video, I hope you're taking care of yourselves, and I'll see you then. Bye, everyone.